They say power always reveals a person's true character. But what happens when the so-called powerful underestimate the one they're trying to control? Imagine this. A quiet homeowner staring at a letter, hands trembling not from guilt, but from shock. The HOA had just fined him for something outrageous, owning a lake that had been on his property long before the HOA ever existed. The ink on that fine seemed more like a personal insult than a rule. But here's the twist. The HOA had no idea who they were really dealing with, or that they were about to make the biggest mistake of their lives. Because hidden in that lake, hidden in those deeds, was a truth so powerful it would turn the entire neighborhood upside down. Before long, their arrogance would force them to dial 911, only to realize the sirens they had summoned were screaming toward their own downfall. This is the story of how one man, underestimated and cornered, flipped the script and banned the very HOA that tried to destroy him. From the moment the letter arrived, the homeowner felt a chill of disbelief. How could they fine me for my own lake, he thought. That lake wasn't just water. It was history. It was a piece of land passed down through generations, tied to family memories of fishing, summers filled with laughter, and quiet evenings watching the reflection of the sky. To him, it was sacred. Yet the HOA had dared to say it was unapproved, as though they had authority over nature itself. That's when the homeowner's suspicion turned into resolve. If the HOA thought they could intimidate him, they were about to learn the hard way. Still, the fines kept coming. First, $500 for unregistered natural resource, then another $1,000 for disturbance. The HOA acted as if the lake itself was a criminal. Neighbors whispered, confused. Why fine someone for what had always been there? But the HOA wasn't just greedy. They were arrogant, believing no one dared challenge them. What they didn't know was that the homeowner wasn't just an ordinary resident. He had something up his sleeve that would shake the very foundation of their so-called authority. The breaking point came on a warm Saturday afternoon. The homeowner noticed strangers near the water, clipboard in hand, snapping photos. They wore smug expressions as if surveying property that didn't belong to him. He walked out, demanding answers. "We're documenting violations," one replied coldly. Violations? Of what? Sunlight reflecting on water? The confrontation grew tense, voices raised until the HOA president threatened, "We'll call 911 if you interfere." And just like that, the sirens were set into motion. But little did they know, they had just called the law onto themselves. When the police arrived, the HOA president puffed his chest, ready to spin lies about an unruly homeowner. But as the officer examined the deed the homeowner calmly handed over, the room shifted. The officer's brow furrowed. The papers didn't just prove the lake was his, they revealed something more shocking. The homeowner didn't just own the lake. He owned the land the HOA's office sat on. Every meeting, every decision, every so-called rule, they were all operating on land that belonged to him. Silence fell heavy. The HOA president's face drained of color, but the homeowner wasn't done. He leaned forward, voice steady, yet sharp as steel. "You fined me for my lake. You called the police on me. But it turns out you're the ones trespassing." Every word hit like a hammer. The officer stood, clearing his throat. "Legally, he's right. This land is under his ownership." The HOA board members fidgeted, exchanging nervous glances. Their fortress of authority crumbled in seconds. The people they had bullied for years now had a chance to witness the mighty fall. The homeowner had a choice: let the HOA continue its reign of intimidation, or seize the moment to end it once and for all. He chose the latter. Notices went out the following week. Effective immediately, the HOA was banned from operating on his property. Their office, their rules, their fake power, it was gone. Neighbors cheered, some in disbelief, others with tears in their eyes. For years they had felt suffocated by pointless fines and controlling demands, but one man's courage had freed them all. Still, the story didn't end there. The HOA tried to fight back. They threatened lawsuits, claimed loopholes, and sent letters dripping with desperation. But every move only revealed their weakness. Court records confirmed what the homeowner already knew. The land deed was ironclad. In fact, their very charter was invalid without his permission. The more they fought, the deeper they sank. The community began to rally around him, seeing him not just as a neighbor, but as a protector who stood against injustice. And then came the sweetest moment of all. The lake that had sparked the entire battle became a gathering place for celebration. Families picnicked by the water, children splashed along the shore, and neighbors shared stories of the battles they had endured under the HOA's thumb. The lake, once a symbol of conflict, transformed into a symbol of victory. The homeowner stood watching, realizing he hadn't just defended his rights, he had restored peace to an entire community. But he didn't let the lesson fade. He reminded everyone that power without accountability breeds corruption, and silence in the face of injustice allows it to grow. His stand had shown that courage, backed by truth, could dismantle even the strongest walls of arrogance. Each ripple in the lake seemed to whisper the same message. Never underestimate the quiet strength of someone who knows their worth. And so, the story of the man who turned an HOA's arrogance into their downfall spread far beyond the neighborhood. People shared it, retold it, and found courage in it. Because at its heart, it wasn't just about one lake or one homeowner. It was about standing tall when others try to push you down. It was about reclaiming what's rightfully yours. So, the next time someone tries to control you with fear or strip away what belongs to you, remember this story. Remember the lake, the deed, the moment when the mighty fell. Because justice, no matter how long it hides beneath the surface, always finds its way back to the light. And if you found yourself hooked by this journey, if you believe courage deserves to be remembered, make sure to like this story, share it with others who need inspiration, and subscribe so you never miss a tale where justice wins. After all, every voice that rises against injustice creates a ripple, and those ripples can turn into waves.